This week, I read an article online that proposed that getting our hands dirty and digging in the garden, and I would venture to guess that the same could apply to our feet in the dirt. Getting our hands dirty can lead to an increase in serotonin levels. So apparently there's something scientific about getting our hands and feet dirty, and it causes a release in our brain of serotonin, the happy chemical, that sort of natural antidepressant, if you will. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not suggesting you give up your medications, but I thought it was an interesting story about how there is this connection between the ground and the dirt and our very bodies and beings. Now, God does not invite us in Exodus to take off our sandals so we can get a boost of serotonin. I promise you we did not get that translation wrong. But there is certainly something about standing on holy ground with our toes in the dirt, sticking our hands in the dirt. Shel Silvertein says there is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins, and there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. There's something about the place where the sidewalk ends that is magical, that is other, that is holy. It is literally set apart, set aside. Maybe it's the serotonin, but I suspect it's more than that. It's about a holy connection we have with our God when we take time to go to that place where the sidewalk ends. Have you ever gone out for a walk and noticed your mood or your perspective shift throughout that time? Where the stress you're holding in your shoulders starts to release, where your breathing becomes a little bit deeper, not because you're exhausted from the exertion of your walk, but from the release that happens. Shel Silvertein continues, "Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends." God invites Moses to holy ground with a burning bush. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, God does not usually make quite such a show as that. And as we talked with the kids, God has not yet called me on the telephone. God, that'd be kind of helpful, actually. Anyway, instead, we get subtle things. It's the patch of beautiful flowers near the sidewalk that somehow captures your attention and you pause and you notice it. It's that glimpse of the waves crashing through the buildings as you walk along. It's noticing the mountains to the east turning purple at just the right time of evening as the sun is setting. It's noticing this patch of ground here at church, where the ground is soft under your feet from the needles. It's hard to miss a bush that is on fire. It is hard to miss the telephone call from God. If you ever get one, let me know. But these other things, they're small. They're easy to miss. They're easy to ignore. It's easy in the midst of our day-to-day hustle and bustle in life to zoom right on by. But we are invited to notice the holy ground upon which we stand. Silverstein finishes, yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk-white arrows go, for the children they mark and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. Friends, we don't have to know the how and the why and the science behind it all. Instead, we are invited to that place where the chalk-white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends, and there we just might encounter our God, who was and is and will be. Barbara Brown Taylor, in her book, An Altar of the World, writes this. She says, take off your shoes and feel the earth under your feet, as if the ground on which you are standing is holy ground. Let it please you. Let it hurt you a little. Feel how the world really feels when you do not strap little tanks on your feet to shield you from the way things really are. She continues, it will help if you do not expect God to speak to you. Just give your full attention to where you are for once. As you press down on the earth, can you feel it pressing back? Just do it. And the doing will teach you what you need to live. Or, she says, keep on your shoes if you must. As long as you are on the earth and you know it, you are where you are supposed to be. You have everything you need to ground yourself in God. So this week, I invite us to find a moment to ground ourselves in God. Because God is ready and waiting for you and for me and for all of us. It's kind of like that Motel 6 commercial, I'll leave the light on for you. God keeps the burning bush going for us. Wherever we are, whenever we are ready, God is there. Thanks be to God. Amen.